What is up, everybody? Solomon here. Hope you guys are all having a great Monday. If you see any ads on this video that ask you to send a digital asset to that address or whatever, and you'll get more back in return, please do not participate in that. I found a ton of information today, and I'm going to start tackling it. I was going to potentially do 2 videos, but I've decided just to do one, maybe a little bit of a longer deep dive. We are also going to discuss the IMF digital meetings that were held today, and we will just start diving in right now. I wanted to start with this, and I had found this today. Maybe this has been presented upon before, but I don't believe so. This is a patent right here that is out of Ripple, Luxembourg, and this application was granted in August of 2020. It is for a resource transfer system. It's very long. I'm not going to go into the entire thing here, but there's some interesting things that they talk about. And they talk about tokenization quite a bit here. They're talking about the resources in certain transfers, maybe such things shipped physical goods, for example, physical gold or other real commodities or items, a hold on shipped physical goods, etc., etc. Talks about a resource tracking system that ties in currency, cryptocurrency, financial instruments, commodities, computational resources. Talking about the record of ownership may correspond in this tracking system to physical resources such as gold, oil, other commodities. So, and it talks a lot about what I interpret to be smart contract. The details that need to be facilitated in order for transactions to occur or for delivery to occur through smart contracts. So I don't know, maybe this ties in a little bit with what the Flare network is doing. Maybe this ties in with something else, but very interesting that I found this, and I would like to see if somebody that's a little bit more tech savvy can go through this whole thing and maybe break it down a little bit more here. But this is resource transfer system. Again, it talks about, certain commodities, precious metals, basically everything tied into this transfer system, along with cryptocurrency, etc., facilitated via smart contract fulfillment. What's interesting, though, is the current assignee is Ripple Luxembourg, and Matthew Liny on Twitter brought to my attention a little bit of older news here, but this is Eurocloud and Eurocloud Luxembourg. Will they use Ripple Tech? And there's a question mark here. And he goes through some of the connections in here. Accenture, we can see here. Talindus, Luxembourg Cloud Community is a customer of Talindus, apparently. This community ecosystem includes banks. If you're not aware, Talindus operates a Ripple validator node. We're going to get into another institution that operates a Ripple validator node as well. And we can see right here, this is Chris Larson. This is Pierre Gramenga. And this gentleman right here is career diplomat. He's currently the Minister of Finance in the Ministry of Luxembourg, I believe. So interesting to see that handshake there as well, and that this patent is currently out of Ripple's Luxembourg division. So that was the first thing that I found today. This is the second thing, and these just came out. This is from the World Economic Forum. This is the Post-Pandemic Financial System, the Global Future Council on Financial and Monetary Systems. It looks like they pushed this out in almost like a 2-part white paper type thing, okay? I looked in here a little bit. It does talk about, there's this gentleman, Arif Ismail, talking about three horses in the race. New private tokens, central bank digital currencies, and efforts to improve the current system by accommodating new payment platforms. But I really wanted to get into, and this is very much so about digital payments and digitization, the second part of what they rolled out today. And this is global standards. This may have been today or maybe a couple days ago. I don't know if anybody's presented on this yet, but this is definitely within the past week. Global Standards Mapping Initiative. This is an overview of blockchain technical standards. This is their October 2020 white paper. If you're not aware, the World Economic Forum is pushing out this Great Reset agenda, very much so. This is very much so talking about blockchain. And they go directly in and discuss Polkadot and Interledger, technical projects such as Polkadot and Interledger, which focus on solutions designed to facilitate cross-protocol interactions. So it could be that technical solutions change the role of technical standards in facilitating interoperability. Now, they also directly call out a few digital assets here. Major standard setting efforts, proposal processes, Bitcoin improvement proposals, Ethereum improvement proposals, Zcash, XRP Ledger, and Libra improvement proposals, again, directly through the World Economic Forum. What's interesting here is it gives quite a nice overview of some of the research that is currently being undertaken in regarding blockchain, digital assets, distributed ledger technology, etc. And it goes into a lot of these institutions that we are very familiar with, or at least if you watch my channel, I've went over in the past. The IEEE, the ISO, we all know, ISO 20022, which Ripple is a member of. W3C, essentially they own the internet and long-term sustainable goals for growth of the internet. They were basically gifted the Interledger Protocol. IEC, IETF, ITU, which is the International Telecommunications Union I've talked about. Talks about what all these institutions are doing, the topic that they're researching or undertaking as far as utility initiatives with blockchain, crypto, security, and identity. I told you this is all one big system that's going to be rolled out, in my opinion. So very interesting document. International Chamber of Commerce, we see on there, Hyperledger, a lot of heavy hitters. And it is interesting that they directly call out XRP for standard setting efforts, as well as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Zcash, and Libra directly through the World Economic Forum. They also link the XRP Ledger's known amendments. So if you want to look through that, you definitely can as well. This is big, though, everybody. And I don't believe this has been presented at all yet. Maybe it has. But this is Fixius. This is through Nacha. I refer to them as Nacha. Some people say Nacha. Some people say whatever. It's Nacha to me. But if you're not aware who Nacha is, they run the ACH payment system in the United States, which in 2018 processed 23 billion payments with a value of $51 trillion. By far in the United States, it's the most dominant U.S. electronic method of payment. We'll get into that in a second there, though. But Fixius is their blockchain platform, okay? Payment information exchange platform. And it's just, this is their whole playbook right here, okay? So if you're interested in going to look at this, I definitely recommend doing so because it just tells you the scope and the scale and the players that are actually involved in blockchain at this point. And it's very, very big. And this mini deep dive that I did today kind of opened my eyes a little bit for sure. And it's not even just this document here. I don't believe this is even the final version of the document because if you go down through, there's all sorts of annotations, no comma, value added, odd spacing. So it looks like somebody's, I may have found this before it was actually published. These look like obvious, like a spell check that you would do when you have a Word document. But it's talking about the playbook audience, how to use this document, key points, important references, standardization, privacy, authentication, auditability, trust, and security. Those are the benchmarks of this Fixius platform, the potential of Fixius, how Fixius can move the payments industry forward, lack of interoperability. We all know where this goes, right? We all do know that Ripple obviously is a Nacha Alliance member. And what gets interesting to me here, and you may not be able to find this document. I found it. I'll post this to Patreon, though, for all my patrons out there. But this will be released at some point. But this is definitely the draft version that I found on their website here. This is this exchange service with just an X. Now, I saw this exchange service. This next part take with a grain of salt because I don't know how legitimate the information that I found is. But now this isn't, EXCHANGE. This is just XCHANGE, exchange service. Now, I hope this pulls up. There we go. This is Exchange Ripple, and this is version 5.0.3 Exchange implementation for the Ripple network, licensed by MIT. Now we know MIT, the institution, operates a Ripple validator as well. But again, maybe somebody that's a little bit more knowledgeable on the tech end of things may debunk me what I'm saying here. But still very interesting that they have this Exchange implementation here. And I think we do see it again here as well. Exchange Ripple, Exchange implementation for the Ripple network. And this is what this is called out for bank bill pay through Nacha's Fixius business playbook is this Exchange service. So again, take that with a grain of salt. I'm just presenting what I found here. I do want to get into who they are tied in with. Now, Nacha has awarded the development contract of their Fixius blockchain platform to EY. EY is Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young's blockchain platform is based on Ethereum, so keep that in mind. I try to talk about Ethereum, not overly enthused about how long it's taken them to upgrade to Ethereum 2.0, but I believe that Ethereum is a behemoth in this space, and I do believe that they will be around for quite a long time, and I believe that Ether, the coin, will do very well, assuming that they can continue to try to scale. But Nacha awarded the development contract of Fixius. Remember how big Fixius is with all the ACH payments, trillions of dollars on a yearly basis, to Ernst & Young. Now, what's interesting, and pay attention to this is directly on Ernst & Young's website. I've seen them call out RippleNet. I've seen them mention XRP in documents. I have not seen any direct correlation for partnership between Ripple and EY, but they are tied in with some other major players in the blockchain space. You know, we talked about Ethereum, but this is directly under their blockchain initiatives here, okay? This is about tokenization, et cetera, but this is called Nightfall, okay? Transforming the business cycle with Nightfall. And we can see here some of the logos if you're actually watching this instead of just listening. We've got Ripple, we've got Bitcoin, we've got Ethereum. I want to say Monero was on here. There's Litecoin.
That it gives you the decentralization that everyone wants in a blockchain, but it's also the weakness.
So, and then again, DiePack, they also have the symbols of all these digital assets.
It allows them to make a claim to the network.
Now, what's interesting to me is if you pay attention to like the very beginning of this video, they use the same background music, or maybe the same composer. Maybe it's just stock music. Again, this is just speculation. And probably nothing, but I did want to do the comparison side by side. So that's EY, Ernst & Young, and this is Ripple's. This is from their Ripple drop. I think there was another institution that, I forget who it was. Maybe Bank of England or somebody that had like almost the same background music. I could care less though. They're the background music's the background music. I'm not saying that that's confirmation of anything, but they directly obviously are showing you digital assets in their slides. This is also going public. This is through Ernst & Young, their Global Blockchain Summit 2020, their keynote presentation. We can see that the current version of their blockchain assurance platform or their EY blockchain analyzer supports digital assets or digital asset analyzation of Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic. In development, Ripple, Tether, Bitcoin, Satoshi's Vision, ERC20 tokens, Stellar, Dash, EOS, and Dogecoin. Full copy of the ledger. Analyze 100% of clients' records. Support global audit guidance. Blockchains, and they're right on their website here, blockchains will do for networks of enterprises and business ecosystems what ERP or enterprise resource planning did for one single company. And it's basically just going to tie all their systems in together, all these networks in together, I should say. Networks of enterprises, and we're talking entire business ecosystems. If you're not aware, enterprise resource planning, at least from my experience with it, it essentially ties in multiple facets of a business, such as procurement. We could talk about material traceability. We could talk about project management. We could talk about document control, accounting, all of these into one system. So think of that when you talk about business ecosystems and networks of entire enterprises, what that will do. There's silos that are currently there right now. It's going to tie all of that in together for all of these, non-connected enterprises and these non-connected businesses. All these back office functions and unnecessary red tape and just inefficiencies are going to go away. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that's going to happen. And I suspect it's going to be sooner rather than later. This is also a fascinating document. They talk about crypto to fiat. They talk about separated to integrated. They talk about private to public. They talk about notarization to tokenization. And they are Nacha's partner. We saw how big Nacha is, right? Trillions, $51 trillion just in 2018. All right, moving along here. We also see Nacha and Accenture joined forces to create online community to support standardization of payments in the United States. I definitely believe that Accenture is tied into this Fixius blockchain initiative through Nacha as well. We know that Accenture is tied in with a lot of different blockchain initiatives. We know that Accenture and Ripple are 100% partners. We've seen that Accenture does RippleNet integration into institutions as well. Now, I did want to go over the IMF, the webinar that they had today. Not too in depth because I know that I saw Crypto Eddie did a video on it, so check her video out for sure. But just kind of the verbiage here, we see a leap forward on cross-border payments, digital money across borders, macro financial implications, almost like they had these documents lined up to roll out right when this webinar came out, right? Coincidence. Okay, now this is a leap forward on cross-border payments. Talks about when paying for coffee, we swipe, tap, wave, and soon may wink. We're talking about retina scanning and tying everybody into a system, right? A quick and painless exchange of coffee for money. But when paying for imports or sending remittances, we often fill out forms, wait for days, and pay too much. This is about progress to improve cross-border payments. Now, I will say this from this International Monetary Fund, and this is digital money across borders, by the way, macro financial implications. I'm not going to present this because I have to actually download it and, my name pops up on there, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a free download. You can download this entire document. It's a policy paper through the International Monetary Fund. Now, this was the panel today, and some very heavy hitters. I touched base on it yesterday. I briefly watched it over lunch and skipped through a little bit. The main takeaway that I had was that they were definitely continuously talking about supporting green blockchain initiatives, aka, blockchain initiatives that do not have such a heavy carbon footprint. And they definitely discussed speed as well. Again, heavy hitters on here: Augustin Carson's Bank for International Settlements, Kristalina Georgieva through the IMF, and Jerome Powell. We all know who Jerome Powell is, right? So this, I believe, just came out. This is through the Treasury, the United States Treasury. This is their 2019 annual report. Maybe this came out earlier, but I just found the PDF of this as open source, released 3 days ago. And they're obviously monitoring the market capitalization of blockchain-based digital assets. We can see on here Ripple, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Tether. Talks about the market capitalization of digital assets, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing big in here, though, as of right now. Interview with Christine Lagarde today as well. And I know this is a lot of information. I apologize. It's just there was a lot of information that came out today. Given the urgency of this crisis right now, isn't there a risk that these 750 billion euros are allocated too late? It's talking about the real economy and reorienting countries to be more digital and green. They're going to, if they do not realign the goals here, they're going to miss a historic opportunity to make a real difference. Talking about a digital euro, it's simply a matter of making our currency fit for the digital age. Make no mistake about it, everybody. Every one of these nations is going to be rolling out their own digital currency. Now, that's essentially a representation of fiat. There is obviously some concerns about bank runs and, going completely digital. Thus, making fiat non-essential at all. So I'm curious to see how they roll this out. It may be like some sort of a capped system. And the IMF panel today also talked about global stablecoins along with central bank digital currencies. Now, this today came out of Sweden. This is today, October 19th. The Federal Department of Finance initiated the consultation on the blanket ordinance in the area of blockchain. It will run until the 2nd of February 2021. They literally are changing laws in Sweden to accommodate distributed ledger technology companies and to accommodate actual innovation, which is a little bit enlightening here. So this has further improved the framework conditions for Switzerland to become a leading innovative and sustainable location for blockchain and distributed ledger technology companies. Now, this is literally saying the Federal Act on the adaptation of federal law to developments in distributed ledger technology, thereby amending specific provisions in 10 existing federal acts. So they're amending current law, right? Now, if you are interested, I saw this last week and I thought it was like just a dead document, but if you actually go onto their website, and I couldn't get it to download this time for some reason, but I downloaded it earlier. This is Blockchain and Corporates. Transparency is the new marketing through Deutsche Bank. And I was able to download this earlier. This actually does mention Ripple. So if you want to go to this website, definitely go. We know all the shady dealings that Deutsche Bank has been tied in with, but they are still, in my opinion, a heavy hitter, and they've got old money tied in with them as well. Now, this is DTCC. DTCC, if you are not aware, handles basically all the derivatives trading in the United States. And they're talking about DTCC believes that the industry can achieve full dematerialization of 98% plus of all U.S. physical certificates in the next 3 years. Now, they go in to say here, today less than 1% of assets serviced by DTCC through the firm's subsidiary, the Depository Trust Company, are still in physical form, but they represent $780 billion in value. That's 1%. Now, that's going to go digital. But think about the 99% that are already digital. And they are talking very much so about tokenization through some of their initiatives here. I do believe, hold on. Okay, this is another one of those ones where you have to download it, but I very much so recommend doing this. This is From Physical to Digital, Advancing the Dematerialization of U.S. Securities. This talks about tokenization of everything in here. Again, I do not want to download and present it because I don't want my name popping up, but you can easily find this and look it up. Now, I did want to end with this. Maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't. This is directly, who is this through? Blockchain Center of Excellence, University of Arkansas. This talks about CGI and MIT as transaction validators on the Ripple network. I wanted to get into CGI just a bit, though, because maybe some of you don't understand or don't know or not aware of how big CGI is. Now, CGI, again, we can see that they implemented a Ripple validator node. This is all the way back in 2016. But why CGI? This is on their payments platform website. And talks about CGI's 40 plus years of experience in supporting national payment infrastructures in 20 plus countries. Manages the interbank funds transfer system in Canada, which processes an average of $167 billion per day. Processes 70% of low value transactions in New Zealand. Supported the design and development of a member bank interface for connectivity to CLS, Continuous Length Settlement System. Developed specifications and best practices for implementing the Nacha ISO 20022 XML opt-in program, ISO 20022. Runs the major interbank payment systems in Canada. Worked with the European Payments Council to refine the SEPA direct deposit and credit transfer schemes and produced a SEPA test framework. Collaborated with the UK's Payment Council to develop its current account switching service, and assisted in the functional requirements and technical design of the UK Clearinghouse's automated payment system, otherwise known as CHAPS. So interesting to see that they are tied in. They have a Ripple validator, and that they're that big of an institution as far as integration is concerned for a lot of these huge legacy organizations, if you were not aware. Now, I found this interesting. This was on September 17th. CGI to support Ginnie Mae's digital transformation by developing enterprise-wide digital asset management solutions. If you are not aware, Ginnie Mae is the Government National Mortgage Association within the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development to enable the agency's digital asset management solution through a blanket purchase agreement. Now, I did find in here we go. DAMS will enable Ginnie Mae to digitally transform its document and records management operations. And I've talked about data first, right? Messaging first, getting everything digital first. And this says right in here, preparing for the launch of preparing for future technology platforms. Well, I'm curious what those future technology platforms are. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you had a great start to your week. I know Mondays are always rough for all of us. I am no different in that regard, especially after a long weekend. So anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the comments. I try to answer them when I can. I'll post all the links to Patreon, and I appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe if you want to. If not, thank you for watching anyways. Have a great night. Later.